Good morning. My name is Mikael Josafat, and today I would like to present about my thesis, which is how does social media affect Gen Z customers in Indonesia? So these are the chapters that we're gonna cover for today's presentation. The first one, for research background. As in this era of society, social media has a huge impact on the lives of many people, and one of the most impacted generation in today's society is the younger generation, or called as Gen Z. With the increased age and maturity of the Gen Z population, it will highly affect businesses regarding what they're selling and how to sell their products, as they have to adapt to the Gen Z due to the fact that the percentage of the Gen Z consumers globally is at 32%. As for the problem statement, social media is becoming more famous and important in Indonesia. This could affect Gen Z's shopping decision, self-perception, and overall well-being of the Gen Z consumers itself. When trying to connect with this age of group on social media, businesses and marketers face challenges because they need to know how social media affects the behavior of the Indonesian Gen Z users. For the research question, there will be three research questions, which are how does social media use the impact the purchasing behavior of the Gen Z consumers in Indonesia. The second one is what are the effects of social media on social and cultural values of Gen Z consumers in Indonesia? And lastly is what is the role of social media influencers in shaping the brand perception of Gen Z consumers in Indonesia? Well, for the research objective, it's the same as the first one is this study may be a very helpful tool for marketers, particularly those in Indonesia who will be attempting to reach Indonesia's Gen Z customers. And lastly, the study's findings highlight the importance of understanding social media's effects on Indonesia's Gen Z customers and provide details on how social media may be effectively utilized to target this demographic. Well, for the research variable, there are two variables, which is social media and Gen Z. As according to an article, it is stated that social media can be considered to be a hybrid component of promotion mix due to its ability to facilitate communication between organization and their customers, and also customers to customers. While Gen Z is stated that this generation is a high consumer of online content, and they have a strong bond for online communication via technology available. And the hypothesis for this research is that social media does have a significant impact on Gen Z customers in Indonesia. As we move on to the next chapter, which is methodology. The research design is from problem identification to literature review, data collection, data analysis, and lastly, conclusion and recommendation. For the approach, this research is a quantitative method. As for the data collection, there are 101 samples of Gen Z consumers that use social media and are also Indonesian. Well, lastly, for the data analysis, three analyses are used, which is the reliability, validity, and also regression analysis. For the demographic, from all the total sample, the individuals in the group are all Indonesian, and the group's age is mostly between 18 and 21 years old with 59 people. And the gender distribution of the group is filled with 43 male participants and 58 female participants. As we move on to the validity test and the reliability test. For the validity test, based on the obtained results, it can be stated that the calculated value of the R table for a sample size of 100 at the significance of 5% is 0.195. And if the R test exceeds the critical value, then the item can be considered to be valid, and it means that all the social media and the Gen Z variable can be considered to be valid. While for the reliability test, if the variable value is less than 0.6, it is not reliable, and it can be seen that all items were reliable since the Cronbach alpha was 0.67 and 0.678 via the data analysis. From the results of this output, the correlation value is 0.637 and the R-square value is 0.406 is also obtained, which means that 40.6%. By that, independent variable X has a contribution effect of 40.6% on variable Y, and 59.4% is influenced by other factors outside of variable X. As from the ANOVA table, the value of sec of 0 is less than 0.05, so it can be concluded that there's a significant influence between the social media variable and also the Gen Z consumers in Indonesia. And lastly, the regression equation model is obtained as y is equal to 4.570 plus 0.542x, where x is social media and y is Gen Z consumers. As we can see that due to this positive relationship on the result above, it can be concluded that H1 is not rejected. And we move on to the conclusion, as we can conclude that because social media is one of the most important things towards Gen Z and also the current modern society, we can draw the conclusion that the Gen Z consumer population in Indonesia is highly affected and influenced by social media. This is one of the reasons why Gen Z is commonly referred to as a tech-savvy population, despite the fact that other external factors are also needed to be considered, as businesses today must be savvy when it comes to reaching out via social media channels if they want to capture Gen Z attention effectively. And lastly, we move on to the recommendation, as it's divided into two, which is the industry recommendation and also the research recommendation. As for the industry, they have to be more transparent communication through social media within a company and its customers. And they also have to use social media platform where e-commerce transactions are facilitated, and they have to increase the use of influencer marketing. But for the future of this research, larger surveys of Indonesian from different location and social classes are needed to get a better picture. And lastly, the future research should discover other factors that may affect Gen Z's social media habits. And that's it for my presentation, and thank you.